A little later than advertised, Shaw Taylor asks for your help in the fight against crime in Police 5.
Twin earring clue to sex attacker in Loughton.
Welcome to Palace Theatre. The performance of Whispering Winds will begin momentarily.
Well, hello. Hello. Excuse me, Juliana, can you just lower yourself a little bit? That's right. Just let me raise myself off my platform. Oh, yeah. I didn't know the camera was rolling. I thought the red light wasn't on. Clearly it is. And I sounded like Gary Cole from Office Space. Yeah. Peter, did you get the memo? I'm sure you'll be getting the memo much later on, Miss Big Titties. It's Friday. I feel good. What an incredible week, ladies and gentlemen. And yesterday, it was announced that Kotaku laid off Alyssa Mercante.
Let's all start clapping.
And a few other reprobates as well. The only one who still hasn't gotten free from the editor's desk and chair is Carolyn Petit. But we'll be talking about him as well in this video. Is it hurrah, hurrah, get the ticker tape out? Maybe, but on the horizon somewhere, Alyssa is up to no good, and we're going to keep some tabs on her to see where she goes. Probably and hopefully off the edge of a cliff. Oh yes, come on, I can't hold back. Just tell us how you really feel today, Jace.
3, 2, 1, go! Eat lightning and shit thunder with Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Rated R. Starts Friday, June 22nd at theaters everywhere.
It's more fun than working with two really hot twins.
If you're going to make an announcement that you're leaving an establishment, a media outlet like Kotaku, why would you begin your statement with, also, kiss my ass? Well, as I said the other day, Alyssa, if you don't use a bidet, I'd rather not go anywhere near your derriere. After exactly 2 years, I've decided to leave Kotaku and my role as senior editor. Is that toilet roll by chance, Alyssa? I am eternally grateful for Kotaku's editorial team and all that they taught me during my time there, which was absolutely zero. They are some of the best in the business because they are a bunch of tits from the looks of them, and I will be forever proud to have shared a masthead with them. Okay, what? Are you the captain of the ship? I guess you might be. They continuously fight to maintain the editorial pillars that make Kotaku, that should be spoken in past tense. I still say December the 7th, 2024 is when Kotaku finally drowned into the ocean, since she likes to use ship metaphors. That made Kotaku great, and to hold on to their journalistic integrity in the farce of increasing pressure to compromise that. It's been a long few months because, Alyssa, your superhero power is that you take a short thing and you make it incredibly long. Well, except for Willie's, but that's a different story altogether. It's been a long few months during which I've learned a lot about myself. Oh, when you go after people like Smash JT, accusing him of being an infidelity type kind of guy. Yeah, that's what you like to do, isn't it? You contact his missus on Facebook and you say, hey, Mrs. Smash JT, I know what your husband's been up to, and can I break you two up while we're at it? You know, she's evil, she's pure filth, pure vile, everything I can think of. This is the right decision for her. Of course it is. I have some things coming down the pike. What, the fish? So keep your eyes peeled. Well, certainly, Alyssa, that's what we're doing. So, of course, what Hypnotic actually said was because she's actually paid a visit. Now, before I get to that part, this is Ahmad Best. You know him best as Misa, as Jar Jar Binks from The Phantom Menace and those other George Lucas prequel movies. He's a nice guy. He seems okay. He nearly deleted himself a few years ago because of the backlash about that character and the Star Wars passionate fan base calling him all sorts of names. I think he's an alright guy, actually. So here's where he kind of gets a little bit suspicious because we all think, so she has to use not just a nose ring, but a light ring to illuminate a god-awful, horrid face. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Get me away from that. But these are her black boys of choice. So on the left, it's Paris Lily, who I like to call Paris Silly. He's a real shill for Xbox and for Microsoft and Phil Spencer. And the big tub of lard at the moment standing on her left-hand side, all 300 meters of him, is none other than the peddler himself, Khalif Adams. Mr. Khalif Adams, Mrs., who begged BioWare for a code for Dragon Age the Veilguard because he couldn't buy one himself and probably is at the diabetes type 4 at the moment. If that it doesn't exist, it does now because he's big, fat and tubby and needs help getting through the front door because, yes, I like to rip the piss out of him. He's an absolute insufferable bint and deserves all the jokes and mockery that are thrown to him. So back to this again. Now, why is this significant? You may ask yourself. Compulsion Games, the people behind South of Midnight, which I'll get to at the end of this video. Something that other people haven't pointed out here about this picture, which I noticed. Look at Alyssa. Now, we've seen how she likes to undress for the camera because Lord knows we actually begged her to do that, right? It's bizarre. For somebody who stands up for women's rights, she loves to degrade herself at every second possible. Well, look at her. She's I would say she's in informal interview attire, right? She's got a long skirt, which I'm pretty sure is a new concept for Alyssa, and a very conservative top, right? A halter top, is that what you call it? So I think this is either, you don't just travel from New York to Compulsion Games in Montreal, Canada for the day, do you? You have to go there for a reason. Now, she could be doing a podcast with Khalif, but then she's done that with him before, but she could do that from her own home. So why is she there in person? Why are Compulsion Games, and listen folks, this is a rumor, this is a hunch on my part and everybody else's. She left Kotaku to go and possibly get herself set up with Compulsion Games, who are linked with Sweet Baby Inc., to be one of their writers. Now, something I found on Alyssa, and I'm going to get back to this point as well, is that she's at academia.edu, right? She studied at Newcastle University, Sal, graduate student, Binghamton University English, and she's currently writing for Seros.com. Originals, still attempting to insert herself academically, cultural interests into some more mainstream work. And what are her interests? Aesthetics and politics, avant-garde cinema, so does she know who Jean-Luc Godard is? Queer studies, film theory, and queer theory. Oh, whoop-de-doo.
Seros is a design platform with everything you need to create irresistible, interactive content for every digital touchpoint without writing a single line of code. Creating with Seros is easy. Start with a blank canvas or use one of our templates. Drag and drop digital assets directly into the studio, or even import design files like Photoshop, Illustrator, or Sketch. Add a few animations and interactions using our presets library. Then, go live on the web in a single click. You can embed Seros on your website, or it can live on a standalone URL. Track the results with built-in analytics, and make design updates in real time. Easy. Create content.
Well, I guess Alyssa is somebody you can call a blank canvas at this moment in time. So if she's currently writing for them, is it to do with her new job, perhaps to get more of an interactive fan base going on out there? Who knows? But I thought this was very interesting. And as I pointed out as well, that this photo right here is definitely her. In fact, the two social media links are also linked to her, except this Twitter account no longer exists. So I'm not sure why she would actually have that up there. But there you go. That's what she was known as, Liz Mariam. I have no idea why she's deleted that account or why it doesn't exist. She probably made it up to throw the heat off her, perhaps. But again, Compulsion Games, why would they hire somebody, consider hiring at this moment in time, folks, for someone who's notorious for the fact that she has besmirched gaming journalism? She's a putrid, horrible person. In fact, somebody on Twitter had asked as well if she's actually going to work elsewhere, like possibly Sweet Baby Inc. What's happened to their lawsuit with Smash JT? Will she drop it? Because she did that while she worked at Kotaku. Is it still valid now that she's going elsewhere? Who knows? So that's a good question that was raised by somebody over at Twitter X. If she was such good friend, maybe still very besties with Kim Belair at Sweet Baby Inc., who are running their own Ponzi scheme, don't you think she'll get some insight on how they can extort money if she joins them? Alyssa's got some journalist influence, I suppose, if you want to take her seriously, which Sweet Baby Inc. might use to their advantage. So it's a bit of tit for tat, if you know what I mean. Although in my case, I prefer tat for tit.
Did it suffer in the explosion?
When are the trains going to start up again?
Oh, look, everybody. It's Alyssa Mercante, and Ethan Gatch sat next to her like a poor simpering puppy about to be executed.
There's going to be like 20 YouTube videos that are going to have all of our faces plastered upon them.
Whoa! Wait.
Wow, Rebecca Valentine, the blob sitting on the far right-hand corner, coming out with that doozy of a statement, the woke couch. Can you imagine being blindfolded, taken to a house because you're led to the belief that you might have a dream date, you might meet your future partner in this mysterious room, and when the blindfold is removed, this is the ilk that's staring you in your very eyes, the pronoun mafia. Ugh, no thanks. I would rather put my blindfold back on, walk out into the street in busy oncoming traffic and say, see you later, bitches. Now, who has actually been fired from Kotaku? This person right here called Willa Holland. Now, you know who they are. Here's a brief reminder of that person yet again. They like to dress up as a dude, but good for them. You do your thing, Willa. The only Willa I love is Miss Willa Holland, who used to be in Arrow with Stephen Amell. You have failed this titty for the last time.
When we broke up, it was really hard. It hurt a lot.
Yeah.
We were like, wait, no, what?
Mr. Rowe has confessed that he never got to write an introduction for a Kotaku hit piece. Oh my God, Willa, I'm so sorry you had to go. So again, Willa made this thing afterwards, this statement that, hey, I'm looking, if you want to put me on your hit list, I'm going to be for hire. A bit like Black Girl Gamers, right? They're doing the grift at the moment. So I wish him well, or wishing well, perhaps, who knows. And look, Carolyn Petit, the editor at Kotaku, is still there. And yeah, have a look. This is the man who thinks is a woman trapped in a man's body. It's absolutely hilarious. When I heard the name Carolyn Petit, I was thinking, yeah, I know who this guy actually is. Not that I didn't know, but one of the most unpopular game reviewers on GameSpot. I used to remember hearing his gyrating voice. For a game, I was looking forward to seeing what GameSpot said about it, and they would have put the worst person on the game possible to talk about it. Case in point, Grand Theft Auto 5. There's going to be a bit here I need to censor, folks, because the minute I do show it in its raw footage, YouTube are going to censor me and give me another warning.
Your own
Have a look
fun.
at this.
Or perhaps you start by digging deep into the game's story problems or its serious issues with women. GTA 5 is a complicated and fascinating game, one that fumbles here and there and has a strain of misogynistic nastiness running through it. But it also does
Yeah, that's because this fool, Carolyn Petit, doesn't understand the whole misogynistic angle. It's three male protagonists, Trevor being the worst, of course, and he's a great, lovable character, as played by Stephen Ogg. The whole thing about GTA 5, it was a satire on the American dream. But I guess Carolyn Petit, ironically being a so-called writer and a pretend woman, would find an issue with misogyny in a game that deliberately highlights that as a point. In fact, Trevor at one point has a go at trans people in the game, which is hilarious, but I think now that's been removed from the actual remastered, revamped version, isn't it? So again, if you look at the interaction below, look at this. 13,000 dislikes compared to 6,300 upvotes. What? Ugh. The worst review a game post GameSpot has. Imagine a world without third wave feminists. Paradise. I could not agree more. Worst review ever done by GameSpot. No one liked this. And look, 520,000 reviews in 11 years is not a great statistic, is it? So you absolutely deserve that roasting, Carolyn Petit. The same Carolyn Petit who just lives in La La Fantasyland at the moment. I wonder if Carolyn Michelle has blocked me on Twitter. Shockingly, he hasn't. I am absolutely surprised by that. So maybe give him a little bit of a kudos thumbs up there. But whatever. Yeah, no one really cares about your politics, Carolyn. But don't worry, you'll be on your way out soon. You know, just time will only tell. And then finally, folks, boy, I told you this was going to be a meaty marathon today. Compulsion Games, South of Midnight. The protagonist who's been race swapped to a black chick here in their banner, but before was white. So again, I do wonder, this game will not do well because it's got Sweet Baby Ink DNA all over it, so it just won't suffice well. Yes, the fact that Alyssa Mercante paid a visit to these people, what, just on a whim? Just because she felt bored one day? No, most likely it's a job interview. The fact that she said she left Kotaku on her own volition is bullshit. She was made to go. Maybe no severance pay. If you keep working, well, it's going to fire you anyway. And she just decided to up sticks and leave. As 8-Bit Eric said, that she'll probably be starting a GoFundMe campaign very soon because New York is a very expensive titty city to live in these days. And this trailer for Compulsion Games is South of Midnight is just awful anyway. And you know what? The last thing I want to say about this whole matter is I don't wish Miss Alyssa well. She deserves what she gets. This is karma, I think, which I think is absolutely hilarious. Remember, this is the woman that hates people that have a right way of thinking, not a right-wing way of thinking. But can you imagine if she ends up writing for Sweet Baby Inc. and the Powell Group for future video game content releases? Can you imagine that? It's going to be man-hating grift. It's going to be her unhinged politics in a video game that you might be interested in playing, right? It could all boil down to that, couldn't it? So I can't wait to see the glorious fallout of her next career move, whatever that's going to be. But when I looked on at LinkedIn, she still says that, I want to go back here very quickly. I don't know if that's changed, but looking at this right now, she's still the senior editor at Kotaku. She's been there for 2 years and 1 month. And if I refresh that, will that change? The she-her monstrosity. Nothing's happening here at the moment. Either my refresh button doesn't want to work, but yep, she needs to change that, funny enough, and I hope she does in due course. Maybe today is her last day because, as they said in Office Space,
we find it's always better to fire people on a Friday. Studies have statistically shown that there's less chance of an incident if you do it at the end of the week.
Maybe today is her last day, who knows, or maybe she's already gone. I don't really care at this stage, but yes, as somebody asked me today, a friend of mine from Texas, he said, Jace, do you think now that we've got a new political party, well, not new, but a new leader in America, that video games are going to be woke? And I said to him, yes, it still is going to be the case, even though that Elon Musk is the 19th ranked player for Diablo 4, which is incredible in the world. That's nuts, right? When I think the other 18 or 17 are all from Asia. It's pretty nuts, right? So that's quite an interesting statistic. Yes, it will be. I think Hollywood will still continue to be wokeified, but they've done that before in the previous presidency of President 45 Trump, DJ Trump. But will they do it again going forward? Yes, because Hollywood is Hollywood. They're stupid. They can't help themselves. And I think with the video games industry, you'll get people like Saber Interactive out there who won't do that. They just want to make great video games as illustrated by Space Marine 2. So the plot thickens, the boiling cauldron gets even more steamier. And boy, speaking of steamy, folks, I need a little bit of a fix right now. She's back again. You can stand there, love, and I'll just sit there and whistle Dixie. But on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you were me and if I were you, you may wish to return for the next video.